It's hot. It's hot in here. I can feel the heat from the windows. And the AC just kicked on. Thank you so much. Thank you so much for that. And I'm shedding. I feel like hair is falling on my arms everywhere. Anyway, sorry. My name is Martha, and if you're new here, welcome. And if you're returning, welcome back. I am back from vacation. Yay! It's my first day back, so I'm a little rusty. I might be a little all over the place, but you know, it's me. That's me being real. So this is a monthly check-in video. It's a video that I have once a month, and it's to retroactively, why does that sound wrong? Retroactive. It's looking back at June. Looking back at June, how did I do? I was on a June no-buy, so how did I do? Also just talk about some numbers as far as where I started out the year, how things have been going. I don't think I'm going to talk about my vacation too much in this video. I just got back from Colorado. I did take some footage on the trip, so I think I'll save that for a vlog. Although I didn't take a whole lot because it was a family vacation and I want to be in the moment, you know, I just was in the moment. So I didn't take a whole lot of footage. So we'll see if that happens or not. And then I read 7 books. I will give you an update on my loop earplugs that I talked about last month, and the AC just shut off. And what else? And some favorites. I have a couple of favorites that are not wax related, but they're favorites. I am so glad that I was on vacation this week because we were having a heat wave here in Northern California, like over 100 degrees, multiple days in a row. I thought when I looked at the weather in Denver, because I went to Colorado, that I was like, ooh, it's going to be in the 90s. I'm like, ugh. Oh man. I was so grateful to not be here this week and be in Colorado because it was beautiful there. Didn't feel like 90s or high 80s compared to 100 and something degrees here. Yesterday it was 95. Today it's going to be over 90, and I'm just grateful for AC. So anyway, let's get started. I will time stamp everything. If you only are here to hear about wax stuff, if you want to hear about books, that'll be timestamped, or my favorites, you know, and I'll be just randomly chatting in between. So stick around if you're interested in that. Okay. Wax goals. Let's start with wax. I was on a no-buy in June. How did I do? And I'll say no-buy for wax. I'll be very specific here. I was on a wax no-buy. How did I do? I did it. Oh, I did it. So it was easier for me though, because most of the vendors that I like are my go-to, the ones I have struggle saying no to, weren't having a pre-order in June. So that made it easier. There are some vendors that I love as well, but if they're monthly, I don't gravitate necessarily to feel like I have to buy, because it's like, okay, I can buy every month. I'm sure there's always going to have good stuff every month, so that's not as tempting to me. And then of course there are vendors that I think they had pre-orders this month. I think Super Tart's monthly now. She might be. And Swanky, I know some of my friends were buying that, and I've never purchased from them. Top vendor to try, but I'm really not adding any new vendors right now because you're going to hear my notes here on my iPad. So let's get into it. If you're new here, I started out the year counting. I think it's all my wax. It's not everything. But it does include samples. It includes just about everything. So I'm like 99% certain that 1,073 was my starting point. That is when I was like, actually it was a little lower than that, but in February I found some more wax and added to it. But that's when I'm like, no. If I end the year with less wax than I started the year, that'll be success for me. If I can get it down to, which I already know it's not going to be possible. I think back in the beginning of January, I'm like, ooh, like I know it's a stretch, but man, if I can get it down to like 500, that would be awesome. It's not going to happen. So we'll see. We'll see where I end up. So right now, I'll just be happy if I end up with less. And the less, the better. So 1,073 is where we started. In June, my starting number in June was 1,070. So that was kind of like my end of May, right? End of May, started off June with 1,070. So just under my starting goal or starting point. And then 36 items came in June, kind of. I'll explain that in a second. So that brings me to, I think, 1,106 kind of in June, right? It fluctuated to the high being 1,106, but I ended June 1,059. So I ended June in a much better place. I don't know why that feels like that's not right, but no, I think that's right. So I used up 49 units in June. So more than came in, which is the hope, right? The hope is to keep going down. And in June, what came in is Lavender and Speckles, Knowles Farm Scents. I had a Scentsy haul, little party haul, party closeout that I did. Only 11 bars, I think, in Scentsy. And then Second and Spruce, I counted in June. So that is part of that 36 number, but it hasn't arrived yet. It's coming in July, but I'm not going to move it over. I'm just going to leave it that way. And what I do is I try to put what's coming in the month that it's coming in. So it's sometimes, a little bit of a guessing game. But that was June. Now in July, I am already starting at a deficit of 32 because of what I just explained. I have Teddy Bees marked in there, and I have Sweet Tooth Scents kind of marked in July. Assuming those are coming in at the end of the month, maybe, maybe not. That accounts for about 32 units. I just got friend mail this week, so haven't included that in my number. So July will be higher as far as ins than June for sure. But we'll see. I mean, with just the 32, I think I'm up to starting July, kind of if that makes sense. That makes sense, including those 32 that I know are coming in July, which I don't have yet. That's bringing me up to the high point of July being 1,089, not including the friend mail. So I'm going to go back up and then have to work my way down. But again, I know there are going to be ups and downs. The fact that I didn't buy anything in June helps. I did do a little bit of a calculation in my spreadsheet that if I really went on a no buy, which is not happening, it's not happening, but if I really went on a no buy and used an average, I think it was like, I don't know what I figured my average use was, anywhere from like 35 to 40. I think I was being conservative, like 40 items a month. I'd only get down to about 800 units at the end of the year. Somewhere around that. It was kind of something like that. So I was like, I mean, if I really, really wanted to go and make a huge dent, I'd have to go on a no buy for the rest of the year. But I know I'm not going to. There are just certain vendors that I am gravitating towards right now that I struggle saying no to, but I might have strong willpower, and that's Knowles Farm Scents, that's Second and Spruce, that's Teddy Bees. I know I'm forgetting another one. I love Lavender and Speckles a lot, but because she's doing monthly, I feel less of that, I have to get something now, right? Like if I miss my window, it's going to be months. So I don't feel that urge as much. And I just got the Roadshow haul, so I'm good. And then Scentsy, of course, I'll be buying Scentsy. So I'm trying to tell myself you can only buy from those. So I know I'm forgetting. I know I'm going to remember, but Knowles Farm Scents, Second and Spruce, Teddy Bees. I'm forgetting somebody else, but that's kind of like I'll probably buy from that. There are some vendors I want to try that I know had pre-orders in June, but because I haven't ordered from them before, I don't feel that pull because I don't know what I'm missing. So that made June easier. A lot of my kind of go-to vendors weren't offering pre-orders in June. So that made it easier. Not being on Facebook really at all. Hardly. I mean, maybe I'd poke in there and kind of leave some comments and stuff here and there, but not looking at lists, not really spending a lot of time in Facebook. That helped a lot. I'm terrible about being on Instagram, so I'm sorry for the people who've left me messages there. I'm always late with that, but that helped. And then I wasn't watching as many videos, partly because on vacation, partly because just there was a lot going on these past few months and it's been hard to catch up. And then I started gravitating toward what I used to watch a lot of, which is like makeup and skincare. And then that I did buy in June, so it wasn't a no buy completely. I did buy some, I think I bought some skincare. I think I placed another Beauty Pie order, and then whatever's coming in now is stuff that I placed this past week while I was on vacation. I was watching a lot of YouTube at night. So anyway, that is my wax, kind of where I am right now. July will be harder. I might end up with more than my starting January number, just because I already missed a week, and a lot is coming in, especially with Teddy Bees. So that is where I'm at with the wax goals. So let's move on to books, and then I'll go to updates on some other things. I think that was pretty much what I wanted to cover. Yeah. Oh, no, before I get into books, because this is wax related, I wanted to give a little review of the Amber and Teak laundry. I did mention that in my Scentsy video. It's not a strong performer for me, actually, but maybe I need to put more scoops in the washer whiffs. I'm going to say it's more for me, more for towels and bedding. I think it'd be fine on clothes, but my favorite is still Fluffy Fleece. So I'm fine with the Amber and Teak. It's a little woodsier. It's a little more masculine. So I think it'll be mostly for towels and bedding and things like that. But my favorite, again, is still Fluffy Fleece as far as washer whiffs and Scentsy laundry. Magnolia linen I'm using right now as well. I think it's fine, but it's still Fluffy Fleece is my favorite. So I did want to give an update on Amber and Teak. It's okay. It's not super strong, so I think that's fine. And that's it. So let's move on to books. All right. Got my glasses because I'm going to be looking at my phone here to give you synopsis of what I read, but I'm just going to share another favorite here when it's with books. I love Storygraph. I do use Goodreads because a lot of people use Goodreads, but Storygraph is like my main place. But can I just show you the stats? Can you see that? I have stats. I love stats. This is just for June. Fast reads. I love this too. It kind of tells you like the books, the genre that I read, thriller. I think 4 of the books were thriller, 4 were 3.5 were literary, contemporary, mystery. I had 1.5 romance, I guess. I don't know how it figures that out, but I do love that. I think I'm going to start using tags as well. Then it also tells me how much was in print and how much was audio. So anyway, I love Storygraph, average ratings, I love metrics and things like that. Pages read for the month. So that is that. But I read 7 books and I'm like, what were they? So let's go through them from the beginning. Okay, the first one I finished in June was The Mystery Guest. This is the Molly the Maid series 2. I read what was it called? The Housemaid? I think it was called The Housemaid. I think so. I have it somewhere. I think I gave it to my daughter to read, didn't I? So yeah, I gave her the book. So anyway, it's the Molly the Maid series from Nita Prose. And so I read this one. I gave this, I'll give my star rating. Sometimes I'm like, well, let me put it this way. I would recommend this if you like a cozy mystery. They're cute. They're fun. They're fast and I enjoy them. So The Mystery Guest by Nita Prose is a captivating read that will delight fans of literary mysteries and those who appreciate complex neurodivergent characters, which is Molly. She's autistic, particularly those with autism who will resonate with Molly's unique perspective and wit as she navigates a tangled web of secrets and lies to uncover the truth behind the murder at the Regency Grand Hotel. So that is a little bit of kind of the preview of what this book, I don't like to read the synopsis in total because a lot of times they give away too much. I enjoyed it. Again, I enjoy Molly, the character. It's a cozy mystery. It's fast. It's just kind of a nice palate cleanser. I was drawn back into that world of Molly Gray, who's the maid there. And yeah. So it even tells me, so this is where AI is kind of fun. It personalizes. In this, I have a Storygraph Plus. So this is from Storygraph. I have the Plus version, so I do pay extra, but they will also tell you if a book based on your past reads you may enjoy. So that's fun. So it actually says here, a past book that I've read, but it says, you'll appreciate the intricate mystery and the way Molly's unique perspective sheds light on the case. Your initial score of 3.75 suggests you enjoyed the book's blend of humor, mystery, and cozy atmosphere, and a reread will allow you to appreciate the details and characters even more. So that's from the AI version that personalizes books that I want to read. So I do like that about Storygraph as well. So the mystery guest, again, if you like a cozy mystery, I would suggest starting with the first one because I did enjoy the first one where she's framed for murder. This brings back a lot of the same characters, again, and a few new ones. The next one I read is for my mystery thriller lovers. This is really a thriller, not so much a mystery, is The Nothing Man from Catherine Ryan Howard. I had been wanting to read this book for years. It was on my to-be-read list, and I said, this year I'm going to read it. It was fantastic. So I gave this one a 4.5 stars. The Nothing Man by Catherine Ryan Howard is a gripping thriller that will captivate fans of dark, suspenseful mysteries and true crime stories, particularly those who enjoy complex, twisty plots and a cat and mouse game between a determined protagonist and a cunning serial killer. I think that is all you need to know. I'll give you as far as plot, really enjoy this one. I'm glad I read it, listened to it on audio. And Catherine Ryan Howard is Irish, sorry. So the audio is also Irish. So if your ears struggle with that, maybe read the book. But sorry, I'm drinking water because I'm talking too much. This book, I will tell you, the protagonist is the only survivor of this serial killer when he was starting to kill off families. So if you are not one that likes that, just know that. I don't remember it being particularly graphic, but I think it was enough to give you, it'll make you not a book you want to read necessarily if you're by yourself or you worry about people, in your home, killing you in your home kind of things. It was really good. And what I loved about this also, it was the way it was written. The protagonist has written a book now. She's the only survivor. She's an adult now. So it goes back and forth between the serial killer's perspective and the book. So you're getting the survivor's point of view through her book, through her writing, and it's the serial killer reading the book about himself, right? He knows that the book is written about him. He's never been caught. People don't know who he is. I think this is now 30 years later. And it's really good. So if you like a mystery thriller, I highly recommend this one. And that was The Nothing Man. Then we go on to another mystery thriller, which is What Happened to Nina. This is by Dervla McTiernan. I read this on audio. It was great on audio. This reminded me of that, maybe it was 2 summers ago? Gabby, her first name is Gabby. It was I think she's a YouTuber or an influencer that went away with her boyfriend and he came home and she did not. If you remember that, it was all over the news maybe a year ago or so. So I feel like this was inspired by that. So What Happened to Nina by Dervla McTiernan, I believe she's Australian, an Australian writer, but it takes place here in the US, is a gripping and emotional thriller that captivates readers who enjoy domestic suspense and mystery, particularly those who appreciate complex, enlightening stories that explore themes of family, power, and the darker aspects of human nature. So right off the bat, boyfriend comes home, Nina doesn't come home. That comes right at the beginning of the story. So it's really about Nina's family trying to find out what happened to her daughter and they know some funny business happened with the boyfriend and he's lying. Now, then the boyfriend's family is, comes from wealth and money, and they can't, no, what are you talking about? My son would never do that. He has a story on what happened, that he left. He left her before they got in a fight. He left, they broke up. That was the reason that he doesn't know what happened to her either. But the families are determined. So this is more about, we all know what happened to Nina, basically. But this is about Nina's family trying to figure out what happened to their daughter, and they're getting challenged by the other, the boyfriend, I guess, the boyfriend's family, and them trying to protect him. So really interesting family dynamic. It's tragic. I think it's at the end of it, it's a tragic story, but it's a really interesting one, and I enjoyed reading it a lot. So I gave that one 5 stars because I thought it was very well done. The next book I read was Happiness Falls from Angie Kim. I read her last book, which was called not the Mystic River. Was it the Mystic River? Something like that. But anyway, Angie Kim. I read her last one and I enjoyed it a lot. This one I gave 4.5 to 4.75 stars. And I'll explain why, because it may not be for everyone. And I've also heard some people who've done book reviews on this one, they didn't like the main character. The main character, I found fine. I found her to be kind of acting her age. And although I don't think that way, it didn't bother me. So anyway, but some people didn't like the main character. But Happiness Falls by Angie Kim is an absorbing and emotionally charged novel that is a perfect fit for readers who appreciate complex family dynamics, philosophical exploration of love and connection, and stories that delve into the mysteries of human relationships, particularly those with a strong interest in themes of disability, family, and communication. So I know that doesn't tell you much of the plot, but that's definitely the themes of that book. There's family, connection, and then a child with disabilities. So I'll give you a little more of the plot. When a father goes missing, his family's desperate search leads them to question everything they know about their father and one another. Both a riveting page-turner and deeply moving portrait of family in crisis. Her last book was called Miracle Creek, not Mystic River. That was a movie. Miracle Creek was her last book. So I would say that Mia is the hyper analytical 20-year-old daughter. So some people, again, didn't like her perspective, but and maybe because she didn't seem as concerned when her father went missing. But this book is not so much about the mystery of the father. I mean, that's definitely there, but it's more about their family. They're also a biracial family. I think Korean, and their father was white, mother's Korean. They have a son, the youngest son. They have 3 kids. The youngest son has, is it called Angel's syndrome? Angelman's syndrome, which I'd never heard of, but it's a type where he cannot speak. I forget how old he is. He might be like 14 years old, I think. He can't speak at all. So he's got no verbal, and his expressions is he smiles a lot. So even his body language is really difficult to read what he wants, what he's saying, because he could be in pain, but he's smiling. And it's in the boy, and I can't remember his name now, but the boy was with his father when his father went missing. And this happens at the beginning of the book, so I'm not giving anything away. He comes home by himself running, and he's just jumping on the bed for hours because he's frustrated, he's irritated, something has happened. His father obviously is gone, and the oldest sister, Mia, she has a twin brother, doesn't know what happened, and they can't talk to him. So most of the story is really trying to find a way to get from their brother what happened to their dad. There's, of course, some detectives that don't understand this type of disability, and they want to put the son away because he scratched up a cop and kind of assaulted someone. And so that's all I'm going to say about it. So if you love kind of this family connection with a little bit of mystery, if you do like reading books with, I don't know, people disabled or just different, different perspectives, different point of view, I think it's a very good story. Bittersweet. So that is Happiness Falls. The next book I read was Tomorrow and Tomorrow and Tomorrow. And this is from Gabrielle Zeving. And I have read 3 of her books that I've really enjoyed. This book was a top book on so many podcasts. I think it was a top book for Book of the Month. It had been everywhere. My daughter read it, loved it. I think her friend loved it. So I had been wanting to read this for a long time. So it says, Tomorrow and Tomorrow and Tomorrow by Gabrielle Zeving is a perfect fit for readers who crave an enlightening and emotional, resonant exploration of the power of friendship, creativity, and love with a dash of nostalgia and a deep dive into the world of gaming, and are looking for a story that will challenge their perspectives and leave them pondering the complexities of human connection. So that's kind of who the book would be for. If this sounds good to you, this might be a good one for you. I think let me just see what it said for me personalized, for me, it said, as you consider rereading, so now that I've given it a thought, it's going to give me what I would think if I reread it. So anyway, I'm not going to go into that. But Tomorrow, Tomorrow, and Tomorrow is a book about friendship. Absolutely a book about friendship. It's a book about 2 friends who are in college. They've been friends since they were little. They had a falling out. Then they meet up again in college and they want to make a game. And this takes place, I want to say, in the early 90s, I think, if I remember correctly. So that's the nostalgic part of it. A lot of people that have read this book say you don't have to love gaming or be into gaming to enjoy this book. Kind of, I would say, kind of. You don't, but there is a lot of gaming terminology. There is a lot about these games that they're making. They're playing games. There's a lot of terminology about games. So I'm not sure about that. I didn't love this one. And I know my daughter was like, how did you not love this book? I gave it a 3. So I liked it, parts of it. I just didn't like the whole thing. Or I didn't love the whole thing. I liked the first half of the book. Didn't care for the second half of the book as much, although there is a chapter in there called Pioneer, which takes place in a game. So that was a little bit like, wait, what's going on here? And you're like, okay, this is a game. But once you finish that chapter, you realize like what it was doing. And then you're like, okay, I actually really like looking back on it, might be one of my favorite chapters. But it was also just different. I didn't love the characters, though, and that's what I struggled with, except for, was his name Mark? I think it was Mark. I think his name was Mark. He was the only one I really liked. I didn't like the main characters. I didn't like how they would fight, get back together, fight, by get back together, meaning they're as friends, right? And not Mark, but the other guy. And so it was a little bit of, like, again, why don't they just communicate? Why is he the way he is? Why is she just a little, I don't know. There was things that they didn't share with each other. And for me, I'm like, if you're really friends, you would know this about each other. But they both had like secrets that they kept from each other. And I think that got in the way at times with their friendship. So yeah, I know I'm probably in the minority here. I think I will remember this book and the characters, but it was just, I could have done without it. I know. All right, next one. And then I got 2 more. This one and one more. Never Lie by Frida McFadden. I gave this one 3.75 stars. This is my first Frida McFadden book, I think. Or did I read one? I might have read another one, but anyway, not as familiar with her, but I know she has a ton of books, and she's mostly, I think, a thriller, fast-paced mystery type of books that she writes. Excuse me, I'm going to have a sip of water. And then I'm going to burp. Okay, so the preview to this is Never Lie by Frida McFadden is a gripping thriller that will captivate readers who enjoy psychological suspense, dark mysteries, and exploring the complexities of the human mind, making it a perfect fit for fans of authors like Gillian Flynn and Paula Hawkins. And yeah, I would agree. This was a very, very fast-paced thriller. I would say this was a great kind of in-between book because I was reading a couple books simultaneously. So what this is about is you have these newlyweds, Trisha and Ethan. They're searching for a house that they want to buy, and they happen to be searching for a home or going to a viewing of it where they're supposed to meet up their realtor. And then there's like a bunch of snow, like a snowstorm that comes along. So they have nowhere to go and they're kind of stuck because the boyfriend, or the husband, I should say, has a BMW. So they're not going anywhere in the snow. They walk up to the house that they're supposed to see. There's a light on in the house. They think, oh, maybe the realtor's already there, but no, there's not. So it's kind of a creepy house where the previous owner has disappeared. They think she's dead. She's dead, was killed, and she was a psychiatrist. So this house is already creepy. It's got like secret rooms. The couple themselves, there's something odd going on with them. You kind of got that sense because they got married, I think, within less than a year or about a year. So they don't know too much about each other. So in the beginning, I thought this was going to go a different way. And I'm thinking, oh my God, she's just stupid. Why is she with this guy? Blah, blah. You know, in my mind, I'm like, did I already solve the mystery? No, I didn't. I'm not that good. But as it all came together, it was really good. It goes back and forth between, was she a psychiatrist or psychologist? I think psychiatrist. Psychiatrists are the ones that can prescribe medicine. I think so, right? So it goes back and forth with her while she's alive and living in this home and kind of what happened to her. And then with the couple in the home, you know, a couple years later, because she's been dead, and what they're finding. The newlywed Trisha, who is with her new husband, he wants to buy the house. She discovers a room with all of her with the doctor, Dr. Adrian Hall, with all her tapes or recordings, I should say, audio recordings of all of the sessions she's had with her patients. So you kind of get to hear that as well. So I like the way it was written. It was super fast paced. It did have a twist there that I wasn't expecting. So I enjoyed it. I ended up enjoying it quite a bit. And so that I gave it 3.75 stars. The last one here, we're going to end with a five-star read here. Nora, let me start over. Nora Goes Off Script. This is a romance. And I don't read these too many, but this was one, again, that I'd heard a lot of people talk about. I think when was this? 2022. So it's 2 years old. And it had been on my list for a while. So I'm glad I finally got to it. The preview for this book is Nora Goes Off Script by Annabelle Monahan is a perfect fit for readers who crave heartwarming and humorous romance that explores the complexities of love, second chances, and the ups and downs of life with a dash of Hollywood glamour and a strong, relatable female protagonist at its core. Yeah, perfect summarization of this. So Evie Drake starts... Nora Hamilton. I don't know where I got Evie Drake from. Nora Hamilton, she is a writer and she writes for think Hallmark type movies, but one of her scripts has been picked up to make a movie out of it. And they're filming at her home in what's called a tea room. She's got a tea room in the back. They're going to film part of it there because that book is in many ways autobiographical. It's about when her husband left her. And so that's the story of this book. And there, of course, is this Hollywood actor that's there, and just the Hollywood piece of it. She's also a single mom with 2 kids because the husband left her. And I just really loved her character. I love Nora. She's a strong single mom. I loved the romance part of it. I just enjoyed the whole thing. So I don't know if I was just in the mood for it after reading some thrillers and some heavier kind of family dark books. This one was just perfect for me. So I really enjoyed this book. So if you are looking for a kind of a nice romance, with a strong mom and family and all of that, then I highly suggest Nora Goes Off Script. So I gave this one a 5 stars. So that is my books. Let's move on to some other stuff. Sirens. Okay, let's talk about favorites, but first I'm going to give a little recap or an update. An update. That's the word I'm looking for. An update on these loop earplugs here. So this is the quiet one. I have it's not Engage. Engage? Yes, Engage. I think last time I was calling it Engagement. And then there's Experience, which is like for music and stuff like that. So these are quiet, but I have my Engage ones in my work bag downstairs. But as you can see, they have a loop. That's the loop. This part will be the part that kind of, sticks here out in your ear. They come with a cute little case. And they sit in there. So they're small, tiny. But I talked about the quiet ones because I'd use the quiet. What I do want to say is this is the most, I guess, like a typical, those foamy ones you stick like an earplug that you would stick in your ear, because this is the quietest you're going to get. It's not noise canceling. So it's not going to shut out like all the snoring, all the noise. You can still hear things. Like I can still hear traffic when I sleep. The reason I got these was because I like to sleep with my window open sometimes when it's not this hot as it is today. Then usually, if it's 60, low 60s, mid 50s, it's actually very refreshing just to sleep with the windows open, but there's a lot of traffic noise sometimes and it muffles it out. They're comfortable too. I do find that if you get the right size, they come with the different size, the part that goes in the ear, this little part here, they come in extra small, medium, and large. You get all of them, right? It's not like you have to pick which one. You get them all and you just find the right fit. For my ears, I'm using medium. So that's snug, but doesn't hurt. The smalls, at first I thought it was a small, but they were still a little loose. So I went up and switched out to the medium size. So you want to make sure you're wearing the right size so they don't just fall out in the middle of the night. They only fell out once. I think I've used them 6 times. Only one time did it fall out of my ear, and it was because I didn't kind of put it in there really well. But I do like the quiet for that. Again, not noise canceling. You're still going to hear some things, but I don't hear like the fan. There's certain sounds I don't hear, but I also don't want to not hear anything at night. So, I do like those. Now, the Engage ones are for you want to be able to hear people like talking, but you don't want maybe that you're at a restaurant or a movie theater where there's like super sound. I do want to wear them for a movie. I think I'm going to go see Twisters this month. So I'll try to remember to take them and give you another update on the Engage. I don't have a big update on the Engage because I've only used them once. I thought I was going to use them at work a little bit more, but I found like a new place to sit, which is pretty quiet. So I haven't needed to use them, but I did use them once at Benihana. It was Father's Day. For Father's Day, went to Benihana, and even though we had our own kind of area, we weren't out in the open, it's still very noisy. You hear, they're clacking on the grills. It's a Japanese steakhouse where they cook in front of you, if you're not familiar with Benihana. And it's the acoustics in there, just a lot of noise, lots of background noise. It is hard to hear. So I'm like, oh, perfect. I'm going to slip these in and see what I think. And they were really good. I did enjoy it for that. It muffled. It didn't quiet it down completely. It muffled everything. So it's not like it hones in on a certain person talking to you. I think it just depends on how far that person is and if they're speaking directly to you. So in the case where I was at Benihana, it really muffled the background noise a lot. And when the waitress is asking for our order, I actually heard her better with it, even though even her volume was down a little. I hope that makes sense. But I can hear her easier because maybe my brain wasn't hearing that background noise as much. Although she was also muffled, right? I don't know if that makes sense. But although her voice was softer, it was clearer to me when I was wearing the Engaged, just because the background noise wasn't so much in my ear. So I hope that makes sense. So it did work for me, and I kept them on during lunch, and it was nice. So if a lot of loud noises bother you, but you still want to hear things, like you still want to hear people talking to you, that might be a good one. It's not gonna, it's like not gonna be as quiet as the quiet ones. But I think it would be good for like movies or maybe really loud restaurants like that when you have trouble hearing like the person right next to you. When I was wearing them, my daughter was next to me, my oldest, and she said, "Mom, you're talking softer." So because you do hear yourself a little better, because of course you've got, you're like plugging your ears a little bit. I feel like I'm talking normal, but she's like, "You're talking a lot softer, Mom." So that's an update on the Loop earplugs if you're interested. And I will leave a link to them in the description box. Okay, another favorite here. This is a new, I've never talked about this one. This is going to be weird, but I used it. I had to use it again. I've used a couple of them. In fact, well, I'll just show you. This is so weird. This is called the Drain Weasel. They sell it on Amazon. It's ginormous packaging here. It's like, it's not the best packaging, but it's pretty big. It's like a giant book here. It comes with really big instructions. So if you can't read, that font is huge. It comes with, I think this one comes with 4 pieces. I think I've used 3 of them. Does it say how many it comes with? It comes with a few of these. This thing here comes with 1 of these, and I think 4 or 5, maybe 6 of this piece. And you just stick it, you stick it onto the 1 piece here to hold it. This is going to be your crank. Okay, the Drain Weasel. I have lots of hair and I shed. And even though I'm really good at trying not to get hair going down the sink, sometimes it happens, especially in the shower. This thing here, I think it when you're twisting it with this, you're cranking this down there, the hair and guck and whatever's in your drain starts to wrap itself around here. And you pull it out and you're like, oh, gross, disgusting. And you throw that crap, and then you just throw this away. You throw the whole thing away because, yeah. Unless there wasn't that much and you want to kind of peel it off here and reuse this, you could, but last time I pulled stuff out of my sink, it was gross. So it just attaches on here. Super easy. It'll click, right? You'll hear this little click. I'm not going to click it all the way. You push it in. Then you stick this down the drain like that. You stick it down the drain, and then you take your little, and then just, it starts to twist, and then you pull it out. This has come in, oh, now it's not going to come out. Yeah, I can unsnap it, but I want to break it. It does unsnap here. There we go. And then you throw this piece away. So that's come in super handy. I know there's tricks of using baking soda and vinegar and then boiling water. And I've done that too, to kind of clear out the pipes every once in a while. But like, if you got like hair, this will do the trick. I love it. And then my sink, whoosh, then the water starts flowing back down there and going down the tube. So it removes clogs. If you have a serious issue, I mean, obviously you're probably going to need a plumber if it's serious, but if it's like hair and crap that you got under there and it's like the drain is a little slower, I highly recommend the Drain Weasel. It's a hair, that's actually what it's called. It says hair clog tool. So find it on Amazon. That is my very weird favorite, but I had to use it about a week ago, and I'm like, yep, I will tell my friends about this one. And then another one, I have talked about it in an empty, but coming back from vacation, I took a lot of skincare and stuff, but I don't really take, shampoos and stuff. Sometimes I do. I didn't this time. It's just nice to come home to your own products, but I use this again today. This is the 8-second Wonder Water Flash Hydration from L'Oreal. It's a Hyaluron Plump, but it's this one. It's purple. I don't know if they have a pink one or if this is the only one, but they're 8 seconds. I'm about halfway done. This is my 2nd bottle that I've used. I love this stuff. I'm telling you, it leaves my hair so flippin' soft. It feels soft. It feels clean. When you're rinsing it out, it's amazing. And I know that a lot of people may use hair masks and stuff. The reason I like the idea of this deep conditioning mask, but I don't know about you, but a lot of times you have to leave it in for like 10 minutes or even 5 minutes. And I'm like, well, what am I supposed to do now? Like, I don't want the water going for 5 minutes. I live in California. We're used to having droughts. I don't want to like towel off and get out just to get back in and rinse my hair. I don't have like a huge hair bowl sink where I can, rinse out my hair. So I just don't do hair masks because I'm not going to sit in the shower for 5 minutes. I don't know. What do you do? Do you do that? I don't know. But sometimes I'll leave it in max like 3 minutes, but anyway, this just makes my hair feel so soft. So I used it today and it was fantastic. And then last but not least, I shouldn't be giving like 3 favorites because I might not have one next month. But again, recently using this one, and this is in the makeup YouTube world. A lot of people talk about this mascara. This is Sky High from Maybelline, I believe. And I was out of my regular mascara, and so I bought this one, and I love it. I mean, I have really short lashes, and I don't even think that even now they look like they're that great, but they're stubby lashes. And I use this with something else, which maybe I'll save that for my next month's favorites, which I use like a primer first. But this is what the tube looks like. It's a skinny tube, which for me works because, again, I have very sparse lashes and it just creates some length. I don't know. I could be on this video and people are like, yeah, your lashes suck, Martha. But trust me, I have like hardly any lashes, and I think it does a great job. So that is that. So that was 3 favorites. This is my monthly check-in. I hope you enjoyed this. And if you did, consider giving me a like or subscribing to my channel if you haven't already. I do this once a month. And I'm trying to think of, before I let you go or before you take off, what I have going on this week. I think I have some finishing off my wax collection videos. So that is what I have. And then some friend mail coming soon. And then maybe that vlog from my vacation. So those are a couple of things to look forward to if you subscribe to my channel and hit the notification button. You won't miss a video. So thank you so much. I'll chat with you later. Have a great day. Bye-bye.